Hey guys, hold on. So I'm just adjusting you. Oh no, oh no. Okay, hold on. Okay, all right. I think we're good. All right, I had to adjust you guys. I have a new phone now, so it's gonna be better camera quality. And hi, Missy. Okay, there we go. All right. Oh man, I have been a busy bee, a busy biatch. So, hi Trini. I started this video early. I'm still letting my car warm up a little bit. I'm about to be heading to the shop and oh, hold on 1 second. What's this? Okay. All right. So I'm gonna be heading to the to the shop. This video is gonna be a little bit more serious. Today I am talking about addiction. The reason why I'm talking about this, you guys, and the reason why I feel comfortable enough to talk about things like this is because addiction is something that runs in both sides of my family, both my mother's and my father's side. My mother's side, it's more the men. My father's side, it's both women and men. So I've grown up and seen and been around a lot of people who have struggled with addictions. My father was one of them. He struggled with alcoholism, and that was part of why he had passed so early in his life. So when I talk about things and when I share knowledge, it's not just you know, something that I got out of a book or just something that I want to talk about that I have no idea what I'm talking about. Usually when I talk about things, and pretty much everything that I talk about is because of results of something that I've dealt with in life, something that I've witnessed in life, or something that I'm knowledged in. And when I talk about things like this, the reason why I share my stories is to be able to help anybody who is possibly struggling or experiencing the same things of what, hi Olive, of what I have had to, endure myself, or what I have had to see people around me and within my life and people who I cared a lot about and loved, what I had seen them go through. So I am calling this video, hold on you guys, there's a lot of snow. I'm trying to get out of my driveway. I'm calling this video Addiction to Arousal Fixation. Arousal fixation, I know it might sound kind of, it sounds like it's a sexual thing, right? But it's actually, it's not. Arousal fixation is a part in our brain that, for example, when somebody scares the shit out of you, it makes your heart like pound out of your chest. You get freaked out, you know, you get scared, you know, when somebody just pops out and like, hey, you know, and scares the crap out of you, you get really scared, and you you know, it's almost like you like have to catch your breath. And this arousal fixation is the same signal that our brain gives us when we're excited. When we are excited in a happy way, as well as when we're experiencing fear in a terrifying way, our brain gives us these signals that are the exact same thing. They come from the exact same place, and it's arousal fixation. Some people have an addiction to arousal fixation, and this is just, and you guys, this is probably going to be my topic, and you know, I'm probably going to have to make more videos to go along with this addiction video, because addiction is something that, it's like there's so many different addictions, there's so many of them, and I probably won't be able to cover everything in this video. But for today, and because I have been a lot of my clients who have been coming to me recently, not just recently, but in the past as well, but I've noticed that there has been a lot more coming to me within the last month or so who are struggling with alcoholism, drug abuse, who are recovering alcoholics, who are recovering drug addicts. I also have I also have clients who are struggling with um, eating addictions, food addictions, um, different things, you know. But what a lot of this stems from, it stems from an arousal fixation. The reason why we have addictions is because it makes us feel something that we can't feel normally, or it allows us to cancel out things that we don't want to feel. It allows us to escape our feelings at times, depending on what your addiction is. For me, at one point in my life, I did consider myself an alcoholic. At a very early stage in my life, I was about 14 and 15, and you know, I was a young teenager, and I was hanging around with older teens, 18, 19s. You know, so hanging around with older people, they were drinking and they were doing drugs, and you know, of course, being a product of my environment, I started doing the same, you know, because I'd grown around it. You know, I had grown up around it. You know, I had seen it, and I was just like, you know, I had my own struggles and my own demons I was going through at a very, very early stage in my life. As a child, I had already had suicidal thoughts as a little kid, and it all stemmed from things that I had endured in my childhood, in my early years. And for me, drinking and alcoholism, being an alcoholic at that time in my life, which I don't struggle with this, and I'm gonna tell you guys how this all came about and what happened. So in my teens, being around and hanging out with older people, I had developed the habit, and I developed the like of drinking because it helped me to numb my feelings. So numbing my feelings, it was good for me because at the time I had, every day that I had woke up, I was like, why? I was angry that I woke up because I wanted so bad, I wanted death. I didn't want to live. I was depressed. I was in very abusive situations from the time that I was a child. I mean, all the way up until, but this is like, we're talking about my teens. You know, I had been in abusive relationships. I was emotionally, mentally, physically abused. So drinking helped me to numb my pain. I was very, very skinny. I hardly ever ate. I didn't care about food. I didn't care about eating. I just wanted to drink. That's it. That's how I would borrow money from people, and I would just go and get a very cheap bottle of vodka. Vodka was my choice, so I wasn't a beer drinker. I was a liquor drinker. I wanted like liquor, vodka. That was my go-to. So yeah, so this alcohol abuse was my way of escaping. So like I said, this arousal fixation that we experience is and there's healthy ways of experiencing this, and then there's also ways that can kill us of experiencing this. Some people go to a drug to experience arousal fixation because they have been through so much that they've numbed themselves to life and they can't feel anything, whether it be emotionally, physically, mentally. They're not stimulated anymore because they have overstimulated themselves in unhealthy and negative ways. So the way that I had fixed myself was first recognizing and seeing it for what it was, seeing that I was trying to numb myself from something that I didn't need to numb myself from it. I needed to face it, and I needed to strengthen myself. And you know, so I had watched a lot of the adults in my family. I had seen the effects of what it was that I was starting to do. I was in the process of becoming the very people that I was looking at, the very people that I was born into, this family. I had witnessed what the effects were and who I was potentially going to become, and whose footsteps I was going to be following in. And you know, and then I had started changing who I was being around. And this took time, you guys. It wasn't just a light switch that it was just day and night, you know. It was like, you know, our night and the day. It wasn't just like that. It took time. It took me pulling myself away from certain people, even family members, and pulling myself away from friends, and getting counseling. I had gone to counseling. I had seen a psychiatrist for a while, you know, in my early 20s. I'm 32 now. I had seen a psychiatrist, and there wasn't really a whole lot that she had helped me with, other than being able to hear myself talk about these things over and over and over again. That helped me more than what, because when you go and see, you know, when you go and see a psychiatrist or a counselor or a doctor, or you're put into a, like, because I had gotten put into a hospital for, you know, for suicide watch. And when you go to places like this, they right away want to prescribe you antidepressants. They want to, you know, prescribe you a medication that is going to help you with this chemical imbalance in your brain. So that's their first thing that they do. And after that, they just you know, you know, whenever it is that you ever become sick, if it's with a cough, or, you know, you end up spraining your ankle or something, you end up in the hospital or in the doctor's office, they ask you how you're doing on your medication. You know, so there's no, when they prescribe you these things, that's it. They prescribe it to you, you're just supposed to take it, and that's it. Well, when I was prescribed these medications, they numbed me more than what the alcohol was numbing me. They numbed me from just feeling nothing. Like, I just didn't feel, I was like a zombie. I didn't like how I was feeling. It made me even more depressed because, you know, at least, and this was my way of thinking back then. I'm not saying now. At least back then, when I was drinking, there was times that I was having fun, and I was, you know, I had company, and I was talking, and I was, you know, active and dancing, and, you know, having fun, having a good time. That's how I seen it back then. Not saying now, but back then, that's how I had seen it. Whereas when I took this prescription pill, I was just in bed. I wouldn't get up. I wouldn't do anything. I was just there. That's it. I was there. I was alive. Yeah. I wasn't drunk, but I didn't have an existence. You know, so going through a lot of the things that I had went through, really made me realize, and also talking to other people, not that they were able to, you know, just talking about my problems didn't make it go away. You know, it wasn't just, okay, you know, I'm gonna erase all your problems. Didn't work like that. And so, you know, I guess the point that I'm getting to is that when you have an addiction, you might think it's only your problem. You might think, I'm doing this to myself. I'm not doing anything to anybody else. I'm not hurting anybody else. This is something I'm doing to me for me. But in reality, when you have an addiction, it's not just your problem. It's the problem of everybody who loves you. It's the problem of your children if you have them. It's it's something that they're seeing you do, and you're getting them to think that this is a way of dealing with things, that this is okay. And addictions could be something so small as you could be somebody who feels like you need to take an ibuprofen every morning, just because out of habit. You just take an ibuprofen. There's nothing wrong with you, but out of habit, you just, for some reason, you take this ibuprofen and you feel like you're gonna have a good day. That's an addiction. Anything that you do in excess and anything that you do without needing it is an addiction. And when you do this, you pretty much pave a path for the people who are around you, for the children who watch you, you know, for your kids, and they're only going to follow in this. And the thing is that maybe your addiction is only an ibuprofen every morning, but you could be, that addictive tendency is going towards a child who will eventually grow into an adult who might not go to ibuprofen. They could go to heroin. My father was an alcoholic. My younger sister, she's a heroin user. And I'm talking about real shit, real life. This is really what it is. And I'm not saying this because I want to put anybody on blast. I'm not saying this because I'm trying to hurt anybody. For whoever might end up watching this that might not like what it is that I'm saying, or that I'm putting this business out there. But hey, it's my story, it's my life, and I can do with it what I want. And if it's going to help somebody out there to get them to realize that addiction is not just something little and something that you're only doing to yourself. It's not. When one person in your family has an addiction, the whole family has that addiction. Because the effects of the addiction affect everybody, not just you, but they affect everybody. Wait, I didn't even realize I need to get some gas. Shit, I'm gonna have to go after work. It affects everybody, and it hurts everyone to have to watch it. I mean, you know, it hurts me to have to see, you know, my certain members of my family falling on the floor because they can't hold themselves up because they're so high out of their mind. It's hard. It's hard to watch. It's not fair. It ain't fair for us to have to go through that. It ain't fair. It ain't a nice thing to have to watch. It's not funny. It's sad. And you know, so my reason for making this video is because I've had people that have contacted me thanking me for my videos because I've helped them in some way. And if I can continue to do that, then I am living my life's purpose. So if I can help somebody by sharing my experience, my life experience, what I've gone through, if I can help somebody in that way, just by talking about certain things and knowing that you can connect and knowing that you can grow from whatever it is making you weak. And, you know, every weakness that you guys have, you need to be thankful that you have that weakness, because that weakness brings potential for strength. Especially when you start to recognize it and when you start to see it. And when you decide, the day that you decide, this ain't good enough for me anymore, that's when you can move forward. I did that. I did that a very long time ago. And you know, the crazy thing is that I think that, and I feel strongly that the universe won't allow me to have that same addiction that my father had, because I don't know. Like, I don't know how to explain it. Before, I guess when I was younger, I was able to tolerate drinking, and, you know, I could hold it, and, you know, it wasn't, you know, now it's like I can only have a couple of drinks and I'm like, whoa, you know, like I'm good, you know. I have a limit, and I'm not falling on the floor drunk and passing out, not knowing where the hell I am. And, you know, and at one point in my life, I was that way. I was like that. And even more, I feel that now that my father's not here, he's not going to allow that either. You know, because he knows now how precious life was. And he knows now of his what his addiction caused and how it affected the people who loved him and who cared about him. Addiction is not only your problem, it's the problem of everybody who loves you. So really think about that when you are doing what it is that you're doing, when you are taking life for granted. Learn from it, live it, learn from it, move past it, move forward, rise above it. And you know, you're able to do it, and there's lots of resources out there. There's lots of people who can help you. You know, me being one of them, I help people all the time that come to me and tell me about an addiction, or something that they had something that had happened to them as a child, or even food addictions, you know. And some people are just addicted to being addicted, and it's crazy because I have met people who just have an addiction to addictions. um it's kind of like OCD, like obsessive compulsive disorder, where you just feel like you need to constantly do something where it's routine to you. I have met somebody who had a eating disorder, an addiction to food. They managed that addiction. They strengthened themselves where that was no longer an addiction. And I'm not going to say any names or anything like that. And this person was from such a long time ago that I've never heard from this person, you know, for a while. I've heard of this person, but this person had started being, let's see, how could I say this? This person had started to have sex. So she moved from this addiction to food to now having a sex addiction. There are some people who exist out there that have addictions to addictions. They need to be addicted to something because it's a psychological thing that they haven't dealt with, or it could be an energy thing. It could be something that you've grown up around. I strongly believe that we are products of our environment, and we can stay that way or we can grow. Um, but it exists. It exists that some people just have an addiction to being addicted. And you know, and these people still need help, even if it's something that they're not, you know, yeah, they're not shooting themselves up in the veins and stuff, but a sex addiction can get you can get HIV from this. You know, a food addiction, an eating addiction, you can cause a lot of health problems to your body by having certain addictions. You know, so there and it's so easy to become addicted to something, because when you're going through something emotionally, mentally, energetically, and you're filling voids in your life with other things. Some people are addicted to relationships. They can't be by themselves. They feel like they need to have a partner. They need to have somebody in their life, because otherwise they feel like they don't have purpose, or they feel like they're not enjoying life as much as they should be, because they're alone and because they're lonely. And you know, so everybody has an addiction. Some people bite their nails. Some people have a addiction to biting their nails. It's a nervous tendency. You know, some people have addictions to cigarettes. Some people have coffee addictions. There's so many addictions out there, you guys. And if you would just start to recognize them, and that's the thing, is that recognizing that there is a problem and recognizing that you're doing something in excess helps you to call it for what it is, to see it for how it is. And with that, you start to take your power back. So recognizing things in your life that are not good is not you being hard on yourself. It's not you beating yourself up about certain things. But then again, there's a limit to how to, if you're gonna recognize something for what it is, do something about it. Don't just, you know, constantly beat yourself up every time that you fall into this addiction, every time that you relapse. Don't beat yourself up about it, but also don't allow yourself to get comfortable in that addiction anymore. You know, there needs to be a move, there needs to be a change, there needs to be growth, there needs to be development. You know, otherwise you're just going to keep on repeating. And if you're going to certain rehabilitation centers, or if you're seeking, I'm not saying stop going to these things and stop doing what it is that the doctors are telling you. Still do what it is that you're doing to get yourself help, And like I said, there's lots of resources out there. Still continue to do what you need to do to get yourself help, but also help the doctors, help the psychiatrists, help the counselors, help the dietitians, help whoever it is who's trying to help you, help them back by helping yourself. Because it's not just talking about things. It's not just being on medications. It's not just following the steps, but taking it seriously for you and really reinforcing change in your life that will help you in the long run, and it'll help you to grow. And you, like I said, be thankful for this weakness, because this weakness can become a strength. And when it does, you can be doing the same thing what I'm doing right now, talking to people, telling them you can do it because I did it. So, yeah, I'm here. I'm going to go ahead and catch up on you guys' comments. Let's see. Let's see. I'm late. She's parking. Let's see. Trini says, I can relate to this, Nina. I dealt with addiction from my dad and alcohol that took him away sooner, and also past relationships dealing with alcohol as well, so I can relate. Yeah, and that's the other thing, you guys. If you guys are men, or even for women, even for women, if you guys have children and you have an addiction problem, whether it's drug addiction or alcohol abuse, alcohol addiction, these kids, especially for a little girl, for example, I used to be a little girl at one point in time. The first man that I ever loved in my life was my father. That goes for a lot of us. That goes for a lot, those of us who are privileged enough to have known our parents. My daddy was the first man that I ever loved, and with no regret. I don't regret it at all whatsoever. But the thing is that what I think he might regret is that he didn't set a better example of the men that I should have been attracted to, because I was attracted to men who were just like my father. So I also dealt with that. I was dealing with men who were alcoholics and who would beat me up and who would emotionally and mentally abuse me. And my dad was never abusive toward me. He was never abusive toward his kids, especially his girls. His girls were always his princesses. He always called us princess. We were always baby, little girl. Like it was always love with us, you know? So, but the thing is that a lot of adults, they think because they're children, that their brains can't, that they don't know what's going on. Oh, they're just kids. They're kids, you know. They don't know. They're kids. That's bullshit, because we do know. I did know. Kids know. Kids know a whole lot more than what adults give them credit for knowing. And we pick up on it, and we're nosy as shit, and we want to be all up in your business. And it's because we're learning, because we're sponges, because we're absorbing everything that we're around. We're absorbing, and that's why I say that we're products of our environment, because we're absorbing everything that is going on in our environment, because we're learning and we're growing, and we need stimulation. Our brains need stimulation. We need to learn things. So what do? We learn things, unhealthy things, healthy things. We learn things from the people around us, from our parents, from our older siblings, from, you know, whoever it is that we see as role models in our life. We learn things from them. We pick up from it, and this is how we program ourselves to be a certain type of person when we grow up. Let's see. Olive says, that's why you're so down to earth. You're a hidden gem. People who rarely know you probably open up to you quickly. Oh, thank you, Olive. Yeah, they do. And even, you know, the ones who don't open up to me, I have a way of, and you know, it might not be a good thing that I do it, but it is a good thing, because I get them to open up. But if you don't open up to me, I'll pry at you. I'll start asking you questions. If you don't want to talk about something, I kind of dance around what it is that I need to know, because I do feel like my purpose in this life is to help others. So in order for me to help other people, I need them to help themselves. I need them to open up and talk about things that they probably haven't talked about in so long, because they've tried to forget about it and not have to relive it. But here's the thing is that if it still hurts you to talk about it right now, it doesn't hurt me to talk about any of these things. You know, you might hear my voice get a little bit shaky when I talk about my daddy because I miss him. But when it comes to my life, and if somebody that from my past was to bring up, and it's happened, you know, a friend from my past had resurfaced, and you know, we're, you know, shooting the shit, talking about the past, you know, talking about how I used to be, how I've changed so much, and you know, and just memories and things. Some of the things that I had heard was like, I can't believe I did that. I can't believe I used to be like that. You know, but I'm not ashamed of it. I'm not like, don't talk about that. I'm not ashamed of it because I'm not that person anymore. So I'm okay with talking about it. And even right now, I'm okay with talking about what I used to do in the past because that's not me anymore. I've grown from that. And I'm trying to help others to grow from it as well. So thank you so much, Olive, for that comment. That's really sweet of you to you know, acknowledge me in that way and to say that. Hi, Johnny Dragon. Thank you guys. Thank you everybody for joining me this morning. Olive says, I have a family member going through something like this. It made the person worse. Yes. Yep. You know, and it's unfortunate. It's unfortunate that things, you know, some people can't do it. Some people, they don't, it's too hard of a fight. You know what I'm saying? Like sometimes it's too hard of a fight for certain people to have to go through, and we can want it more for them than what they want it for themselves. Unfortunately, not everybody is a survivor. Hi, Summertime Fairy. She said I finally caught you live. Yes. Hi, Melly. Hello, beautiful. Good afternoon to you as well, my sister. Let's see. Olive says, I'm gonna go to the store and tell you my whole life now, Nina. LOL. Oh, girl, you bring it. You can come on. Come with it. Let's see. Olive says, yes, especially with things like dysfunctional relationships. Yes. Yes. Summertime Fairy, you are so, oh, okay. Oh, thank you. Johnny Dragon, you're so welcoming and warm. Okay, I think I caught up with everybody. So I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. Thank you guys so much for joining me. Thank you so much for riding with me. And if you guys did, you know, if you guys enjoyed this video, if this touches anybody that you know and you feel that they need to hear this message, please feel free to share this video with whoever you feel it needs to hear these things, or needs to know, you know, what it is that I'm saying. And you know, just yeah, feel free to share this video, and thank you guys so much for your love and support. Thank you for riding along with me. I'm almost at 200 subscribers, you guys, so thank you so much. I really appreciate you guys. You know, I love all of you. And if you guys enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. I will continue to share more of my experiences with you. Like I said, if this is going to help you guys in any way, let me know. Just hit that thumbs up, and you know, that'll tell me right there that I'm on the right path. Let's see. Summertime Fairy says, have a good day, everyone. Love and light. Nina, you are amazing. Thank you so much, Summertime Fairy. To you guys as well. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you guys at the next video. Blessed be.